So, Nicolas, last week we talked about how I was going to spend time on the couch watching the Masters. Did you get any time in front of your television last weekend?
Well, Matt, I will tell you, I did spend a lot of time on the couch. I did not watch any of the Master. I didn't do my work that I was supposed to do, the homework. But I heard a lot about it. I heard it was great.
Scotty Scheffler won. It was a great kind of dramatic Sunday afternoon. But like I said last week, the pageantry and the azaleas and the blue skies and the green grass, like I am ready for spring. I'm wearing a sweatshirt here in Pennsylvania. It's like 50-some degrees, which it should be 75 and sunny. I'm ready for spring.
All right. I'm telling you the secrets. Everyone listening to this podcast, watching us here in Atlanta, it's warm. I'm in short sleeve. It's amazing. Come down here. We've got great people, great innovation.
Move south. All right.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Hello, everyone. This is Nico, the host with the Vcommerce Show. I am Nicholas, and I am with eStreamly, the company that gets you live stream and video commerce on your website, across social media, email, SMS, wherever you are, the video is shoppable. So excited to be here. I am here with my great friend, great host, Matt from E6 Marketing, the only company that can get you in QVC and HSN. Probably not the only one, but one of the best, at least. Yeah. I am so excited to be here. Matt, why don't you tell us what the show is about? We have a lot of things to unpack today. We are on everyone a little late to start the show, but that's where we are. And so, Matt, why don't you tell us what the show is?
Well, again, thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Vcommerce podcast. The Vcommerce Show is a live chat podcast discussing today's big topics on Videocommerce. Videocommerce is a storytelling platform that was created, well over 50 years ago with TV infomercials and DRTV, transformed into HSN and QVC, and now has evolved into engaging direct response commerce through your TV, computer, tablets, and phones. So on this show, we talk about, normally we have 4 hot topics of the week. We talk about video commerce, e-commerce, all the players, all the brands that are getting involved. Nicholas is heavy into this space as well as I am. So hopefully you'll be entertained, maybe learn something, 1 or 2 things from the conversation. So Nicholas, to your point, lots to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think it's been an incredible week for many fronts in the video commerce space, in the video space itself, from an AI perspective. And last week, we talked about the FAST channel. And I know this is something that has been dear to your heart. You've been investigating a lot on the space and chatting with a lot of people. Why don't you start and kick off the conversation by kind of sharing what this FAST movement is about and what you know about it?
Yeah. So FAST, it's an amazing dynamic. It's basically the evolution of the cord cutters, cutting cable, and still having access to television or free TV. So FAST stands for free ad-supported television. And there are so many players in FAST, like Pluto TV and Tubi and many, many others. And major creators are getting involved, like Mr. Beast and others. Tastemate is a big company that gets involved in it. And I am connected, and I've been talking to a couple different 24-hour, 7-day-a-week channels in this FAST space. So I'm learning so much about what they're trying to do, what they're who their audience is, and basically the net of what I've learned is everyone is looking for content. So it's a great space for content creators. One of the channels I've been talking to is a baking network. So it's going to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week baking network. Their whole philosophy is there's a cooking channel and there's a food network, but no one dedicates time to baking. So they're creating this dynamic baking channel with an amazing creator that'll be the baseline of all their content. And they're looking for additional content creators in the baking space. Then there's another channel called the Transportation Channel I just spoke with yesterday. And they're going to do all things transportation and travel. So he, just like the baking network, has a primary content creator that's got millions of followers and thousands of videos on YouTube, and he's going to use some of his original content on his transportation channel, just like the baking network will with their baking content creator. and then they're looking for additional content creators. These original shows are all going into this fast dynamic where these channels and this space is kind of evolving and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's pretty fun to follow and watch and see how this is all developing.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the fast channel, I don't know if you saw the news of the week, which is, I mean, I think it was a news for me, was TLC Plus. So this is one of those fast channel. TLC Plus introduced the first ever AI generated RomCom on their channel. I mean, it's not the first ever. I mean, it's the first ever in a sense of like they introduced the I think it's the trailer, right? So they have the trailer. The trailer is actually accessible on YouTube. So actually, I think I want to share this out with the audience that is here. It is pretty interesting. I do recommend to anyone that is horrible, but just take a look at it. It looks pretty ugly, to be frank with you. I mean, or at least that's my point of view. Very much AI generated. I'm hoping we can all see that. But yeah, this is a rom-com about AI, and I think it's, I don't know what you think, Matt, but I think that's just fascinating that, content is becoming AI. This is something we've talked about, and the fact that they're introducing that, it's actually going to be live on, I think, in August. Look at the man, like it is quite something. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
Well, the guy. Hey, first off, the guy's hair is too perfect, but it's fake. But the woman, the girl in the video, in this AI, like, I had to do a double take. Like, it's amazing. The technology is amazing. I've told you many times. Every time we talk about this, like, I've watched too many movies from the '80s to think of this can't be good. All this AI being developed can't be good for society. It is amazing, and to your point, like, these fast channels are looking for content creators, and if humans aren't going to do it, maybe they're going to dip into this AI world. I don't know what the price is and how expensive this kind of stuff is, but if it's kind of a natural, normal thing and becomes part of our mainstream with technology, like, I can see it becoming a factor.
Yeah, what's interesting to me was, like, a year and a half ago, we were talking about the big strike going on in California, where people were saying AI, at the beginning, like, it was the strike started pre-Chat GPT, and the conversation was different about wages and everything. Chat GPT came along, the strike was on at the same time, and then AI became the first number one topic that people were fighting for, more than, obviously wages was there, but like AI was the big one topic. And at the time, everyone's like, why? Yes, of course, we need to be okay with that. But now, fast forward a year later, we're like a network like TLC. This is like, it's a small network per se, but it's a big brand name, right? They still introduce a rom-com whole AI generated. I'm super curious, and I want to know, like, first, are people going to watch it? Because if people watch, we're going to see more of those, right? Because it's all come to that, right? Like, if people watch, they can sell ad. If they can sell ad, they make money, so they can make more. So I'm just fascinated by this whole space. I'm just curious to see how it's going to play out.
Do you remember Max Headroom? Max Headroom was like the first computer-generated TV presenter. And this, I don't know when this was. I think it was back in the 80s. That's what this AI stuff reminds me of. Max Headroom. Look that up for all you young listeners. Like, this is from 30, 40 years ago that this kind of thing was created, and it was so fake, but it was in dynamic because you were engaged with it. Like, it's not a cartoon and it's not a real person. It was like kind of the first AI character. It's evolved. It's, my mind is, it's a little daunting, like, what's going to happen, but we'll see how it gets involved with the fast channels and video commerce and the whole deal. Speaking of video commerce, reading the eStreamly newsletter this morning, one of your stories popped out of me, the Amazon Live getting into fast. So Amazon got in, partnered with Prime Video, or they're working with Prime, and now they have their own Amazon channel. So it debuts, I think that technically it debuts, or they have a show that's debuting in June that this article highlights, but it's already on. So I promise you, I read your article. This morning, I ran out of my office to my TV. I tried to access the channel. It took me like 7 minutes to find it. But once I found it, I'm like, oh, okay. It was a baking channel or baking show where two women were talking about making some kind of dessert. And it was a pre-recorded show. But it reminded me of what QVC and HSN does. Like two women were in the kitchen and they were working and baking some kind of dessert. I kind of like that Amazon is taking a step forward, and people that with my background with QVC and HSN, and basically like, all the years that we've been doing this in this live stream space, we've been critical of Amazon in the past because their live streaming selling is not very good. It's not polished. It's not really, doesn't really have much direction. It's just a lot of talking, and they don't drive sales the way that in my world we were kind of intended to drive sales. But this now, I'm hoping this evolves the Amazon live streaming to the next level where they'll really act as they should as a TV channel and merit sales in a proper way.
Now, I will say that, you're coming from QVC and HSN background and very with a certain way of doing it. What we know is Amazon has been doing it their own way for several years now, couple years, right? What we also know about Amazon is that they will drop anything that is not profitable and is not working for them, right? So in a way, you could also make the point that because unfortunately no one has the visibility and the understanding of like what is the actual conversion, what is the actual like what are the sales look like. All we know is talking to Amazon creator that they sell a lot. That's what they say. But from a creator perspective, what is meaning sell a lot? So we don't know that very well. But what we can probably say is that if Amazon has been continuing, they probably have good result behind it and a reason to continue pushing that. So, you could make the counter argument that is not the way Amazon doing the new way of doing it, versus comparing to what was done before with QVC and HSN. Now, what I think is fascinating is like by moving that medium to a TV medium, do they have to adapt to the way TV used to be produced, or can they continue with the same kind of medium the way they are doing it on their website? Or, I think that is super interesting to me. Like, is the place where you watch driving expectation, or is expectation just the way they are because it's the type of the brand and how the content is?
Well, this I'm not familiar, but Paige DeSarbo is a fashion influencer that was called out in that article. She has a show, or Paige, debuting in June. So I'm interested in that. Hopefully it's a live show. Hopefully they properly educate the viewer on the product itself, and they have models wearing it and the whole dynamic. But I'm loving this. I'm loving it. If they take the next step forward, I've almost been embarrassed by Amazon Live, honestly, from my point of view. Like, oh man, this is hard to watch. Like, I kind of understand the dynamic of how they're supposed to talk to their customer and all that. So I like it. I think it's good for all live streamers. I think it's good for all content creators. And to your point, Amazon Live has been around for a couple of years, but over the last couple of years, content creators have become better and better and better.
Yeah,
so maybe we're all as a country learning what it's like to be a content creator, how to handle airtime or your time in front of the camera, and properly, value your viewers' time.
Yeah.
By giving them the information that they need to make a purchase.
What's interesting to me is that with this story with Amazon Live, talking to Amazon creator, what they were telling is that it's very much like this live interaction that people value. So they will come when they know that the product that they are looking to buy is going to be on air. They will come there, just ask for the question that they want to ask to the reviewer, being able to answer that question to make the purchase. So that dual engagement user versus with the actual host is like the critical factor that makes that whole magic work. Now the question comes back to, because we are moving to TV, that engagement might not work as well, and is that where you need to upscale your production and your quality and make that more show as opposed to a virtual engagement? That I think that's going to be the very interesting dynamic to play and see what kind of content they put out there, and if there's a big difference. I would love to have someone from Amazon telling us the story there.
I know, Nicholas, you bring up something that has worked in our world for years. And it was before people would order the product online, they would actually call a customer service representative to order the product. And we had T calls and P calls. T calls is a testimonial call. A woman or a man will call about, I own this product and I want to tell you why I love it. That's a testimonial call. And they would spike sales during this testimonial call. QVC and HSN and Shop HQ, all these networks. Then they have a P caller, which is a purchase caller, and that person is buying the product for the very first time. So when that person's on the line and they're talking to the host and the guest, they're asking questions that someone sitting on the fence, not sure about buying the product, will want to know. Like, how does this fit, or how do you do this demonstration? How do you do this kind of thing? That interaction was a huge part of QVC and HSN and Shop HQ's success in the early days. Then when all the sales went online and they didn't really work with order entry representatives, they lost that engagement with the customer. And your point being, they're going to have now, it's going to be callers. The producer's going to get in the Amazon Live's host ear and say, Judy from Idaho wants to know about X, Y, or Z. Or they're going to have a crawl on the bottom of the screen and have a question asked, and then they're going to answer the question in real time. That kind of dynamic 100% works. And if Amazon Live is going to adopt that in more and more and more and interact with their consumer, I'm telling you, it's going to work.
I'm telling you, Matt, with Extremely, we've been dreaming of doing that one day. If we had a couple million on the bank right now, we will be exploring that, because I think it's such a fascinating space. But at some point, we have to reconcile business with business, and we can't just live on fun things to do. And unfortunately, we don't have the means to do that. But that's something we've been thinking about. Like, can we create like a fast channel ourselves and try to experiment and have fun with that? Because if I was on the Amazon and I was doing that, that must be like a fantastic job to have. It must be so fun to learn. It must be so great stuff. But let's start speaking Amazon and let's move to our next topic that we kind of love to talk about, TikTok. Again, on the news today, what I thought was interesting with TikTok, it kind of tied up a little bit with the TLC story, where basically TikTok is starting to enable US merchants and US creators, generally speaking, to create what they call the virtual influencer. So the virtual influencer is something that has been going on in China. And what they started that is that, a lot of those creators that were selling on stream for maybe 8 or 12 hours a day were basically having no time. We're not on air for the additional 12 hours because they were asleep or something, or not everyone wants to have like a full 24-hour channel. So they started to introduce virtual personality, virtual people on stream, and they started to realize that sales were also coming through, maybe not to the extent of what a real person does, but TikTok is starting to implement that to the US market, enabling creators and brands to actually create virtual influencers to generate sales, talk about product, review product and engagement. It's the early days. I haven't seen an example, but I just heard about it on news, and I'm just reporting it here. I found it fascinating in this world of AI, content creation, this notion of how do we reduce the cost of engaging and creating more content is being the number one thing that people are talking about all the time. I found it fascinating that, here we are, now content is becoming more and more virtual and more AI driven, and tools are here. People are experimenting with it. I'm just curious about the adoption. Don't know if you have a comment on that. I think it's very interesting in my point.
It goes back to our earlier conversation. Like AI, if this is all about, if video commerce is all about personal engagement, that's like the opposite of personal engagement to me. So we're going to take testimonial calls 1 hour, and then the next hour is going to be a virtual salesperson talking to the customer about the product. Like I don't buy that. I don't, I'm about engagement and storytelling and, illustrating products and demonstrating the products and how's it going to be in the customer's homes and how they're going to interact with the product. An AI generated dynamic is just hollow to me.
But think about like what the future looks like, right? Like people start to engage with ChatGPT. You can start having a relatively decent conversation, very basic, but relatively decent conversation with ChatGPT. It's a matter of time before they put that to a voice. And now you start having this kind of conversation as a voiceover. generated by an AI, and the AI is actually responding to the question you have. Technically, if they are well trained, they can maybe actually potentially do quite an okay job. So I think the storytelling is we're not very far from it. I don't know. I just feel that this is coming along, and when you look at all the pieces they're going to be put together, I think it's going to be more and more compelling, and brand might want to adopt that as the way, because at the end of the day, if AI, you are clearly knowing and realizing and visualizing that you're engaging with the AI, you make a choice if you want or not want it, right? So it's not that they are trying to fish you in some way by, hey, this is Nicholas, and but in fact, I'm an AI. You didn't know about it. I think they're making purposefully, it's an AI. It's an AI. Do you want to engage or not with it? I don't know. I just feeling it's a different experience, different type of market. But at the end, the purpose is here. I don't know what's going to. I just found it fascinating to see that play out.
Well, sticking on the TikTok dynamic, I read that TikTok reported a 27% repeat customer. 27% of their customers are repeat customers after just 5 months. 27%, which is apparently second to Amazon. I don't know if that's good. 27% after 5 months. You would think it'd be a lot higher. Once you're a TikTok shop customer, aren't you in? I don't know. What do you think about 27%? Is that an impressive number, or?
I personally can't speak about the number itself. Like, I'm not deep enough into that space specifically to know like what if the repeating customer 27% is a big numbers. I will say that if you think that one user is coming back to the TikTok shop, I don't know if that 27% is specific to a specific brand, or if it's specific to just the I'm a shopper on Amazon, on TikTok, and then I come back and within 5 months I would make a second purchase. I will think that this is maybe not very much, but like if it's on the same brand, I will say that's pretty. I think it's pretty decent, right? Like once you acquire the customer, there's one chance in 4 that the customer come back. I don't know. I feel it's pretty strong signal here. And then we also know that a bunch of those customers will transition to the direct to consumer and shop there as well. And so it could potentially make sense for those brands.
Yeah, repeat customers are an important thing for all commerce. So, I mean, it's an important stat. And, TikTok shop is very new, very young.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be so critical about it, but the number just caught me off guard. Like, that's it? Like, I would think people would be more engaged once they get engaged.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And then speaking of TikTok, the last thing before we go, big vote. I just read this morning, the House of Representatives voting on this weekend in the Senate. Republicans are attaching a proposal. Again, we've talked about this on the show, to ban or force ByteDance to sell TikTok. And they're attaching it to an aid package for the Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. So it's going to go to a vote. I think it's going to go to a vote this weekend. So there should be some things that we're going to talk about this next week. I am a little surprised. I'm very surprised that if this is actually going to go to a vote like this weekend in April.
Well, and especially that they tie that up with another package, which is, so is it like a plan to divert the attention? I don't know.
I don't understand it either.
Very interesting, right? So
it should. So you'll see more about it in the news, I guess, over the weekend or.
Absolutely, and we'll be sure to report what the thoughts are by next week. I just before we go, I just want to do a special shout out to Don Rubo, who sent us his love on the pod. So thank you for that. You've been your number of folks that are on the show and listening to us. We are always here. So if you want to chat with us, comment or send us a DM, feel free to do so. We're mine is easy. It's Nicolas@extremely.com, and Matt is Matt at e6marketing.com. I think so. Super easy. You can reach out to us and chat with us. Matt, do you have any special shout out for you this week?
We talked about the springtime. I wish it was here a little quicker here in the Northeast, but we're QVC selling a lot of live plants these days and a lot of great pricing. And one of the brands that my team works with is Avant Flora, and they're on QVC2 at 1 p.m. Eastern today. So beautiful hydrangeas and different flowers that they're selling today on QVC2. So get your springtime buys in now, because even though it's nice in Georgia, it's going to be nice up here. I'm promised.
So guys, if you have missed the Masters last week and you didn't see the flowers on the HDTV screen, go to QVC today. You will see some more flowers there. Thanks everyone for being here. We love to have you here. Thank you, Matt, for sharing your knowledge and discussing with me about this whole news. It's been a pretty packed news. This is the Vcommerce Show. We are here every Friday on LinkedIn, Facebook, and also on X. We're also on the Live E-commerce podcast. Thank you everyone for being here, and we will see you again next week.
See you later.